welcome to another ranked replay cast. And today I'm gonna have a special for you, and that's why I asked for some help from our CV specialist, Admiral QWERTY.
Hello there.
And yeah, as you see, it's Midway versus Midway, and if you check who's the enemy CV, you will find out it's Farazelos, one of the top EU carrier players. And I think I just leave the commentary more or less to Admiral QWERTY, since I'm not really known for having any sophisticated knowledge about carrier play. So QWERTY, just go on, tell us what you are doing, and I will ask some questions if I have any.
Okay, alright. Thanks, Ito. So, yeah, basically, in a ranked game, as a CV player, you usually don't expect your team to have any AA at all, because CVs are quite rare in ranked, so it's not uncommon to sit in queue for 10 plus minutes just to get one game. But then, when I decided to, I'll play a one ranked game, I saw, I'm against Farazelos, and I was like, oh dear, this is not going to be easy. So, at the beginning, I wanted to launch my torpedo bombers first because I feel like I can do well just trying to get a first strike off in order to maybe kill something or heavily cripple an enemy before the enemy CV can do anything. But most people decide to go fighters first because that's how you defend. But for me, I feel like attacking and getting that initial strike off is more important for me. So that's why I've decided to launch a torpedo bomber, then fighters, then dive bombers.
Okay, so I saw you also wrote in the chat that your team should bunch up. I think I also mentioned that several times in a CV game on tier 10. Bunch up, otherwise you're just an easy victim for the enemy CV.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you bunch up together, it's easier for your team to help lend you their, and B, for you as a CV to defend them, because there's less area or space you have to defend with your fighters. As a midway, this is like really important because if you're a Hakuri, you have 3 and 4 squads. That means you can cover almost the whole map. But if not, then yeah, midway you have limited space to cover your fighters with.
Yeah.
And here you can see I've managed to bait Farazelos fighters using my torpedo bombers, suffering minimal casualties. And here I've almost got a free strike on the gearing as he tries to strafe them, but I dodge, saving most of my bombers, and then finishing off his fighters.
So you're going now directly for the gearing. He's trying to counter strafe again.
Yeah.
But misses. You were expecting that, and you're straight behind him. So that's I saw that many times. I think that's the natural way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
So if someone misses, you just use your fighters and go. Yeah.
Yeah, you strafe strike after them. And here I missed my drop. And yeah, this shouldn't have happened, but I guess you could say I was feeling a bit under pressure from all of that fighter dueling going on, as well as dropping almost immediately after. I think I should have waited a little bit and then dropped in order to kill the gearing.
Yeah.
Next, I tried to immediately bomb the Stalingrad because he's got no fighters defending him. Though, so I end up having a defensive fire and losing most of my bombers. And yeah, I did some damage, but it's nothing special. It was better than nothing.
Yeah, I think you should have taken your time for the gearing.
So like from that initial thing, I should have waited because there were no fighters for me to worry about. I had completely dealt with them. I could have killed the Stalingrad and gearing if I was lucky and more patient. And here, because I've had the fighters that didn't die from their fighter engagement, I can help defend my fleet from these torpedo bombers so they take minimal damage. And that's just a win-win situation in terms of the air fight for me.
Yeah, of course. It's still a bit sad that you didn't kill the gearing there. That's, I mean, you have all the time, or let's say not all the time, but most of the time, and you can have such a big impact. That's really, sadly, yeah. How do you want to call it? Misplay? I don't know.
Yeah, it was misplay. Because when you kill a full wave of fighters on the midway, it takes about a minute, seconds for it to rearm.
Yeah, especially
then
when you
take
like won the fighter duel, he had no fighters in the air anymore, so that was really
Yeah.
really good. That was a big advantage, as you said. Yeah. All right, so your team is blobbing up, the enemy team is blobbing up, so you look for opportunities if someone is separating themselves. So like your Corvus is doing right now, he's already a bit too far,
Yeah.
but you have fighter
So
cover at
like
least.
as you can see, the Curse is like getting a bit what do you call it, overextending. So it isn't great.
Well, at least he's running away, not into
Yeah.
the enemy. That's the big thing.
Mhm.
All right, so you're launching your planes, and yeah, it's just all about looking for opportunities, right?
Yeah, it's looking for to maybe deal some damage or devastating blow, because in ranked games can change very quickly if you lose a ship, because there's only 7 of you. If you lose one of you, that's a lot of firepower lost instead of 12v12 or 9v9.
Yeah.
Losing one ship in those modes isn't too bad, but losing a ship in ranked is really really does have a massive impact.
No, indeed. I mean, even without CV, that's already horrible normally.
But in a CV, you have the power to equalize everything as long as you are given that opportunity, because AP bombs can devastate most cruisers. The torpedo bombers can kill almost any destroyer if you drop correctly, unlike me.
Yeah, true.
And if you go for battleships, your torpedo bombers do much more damage than Japanese ones, so you can cripple them as well.
What do you think? Why is Midway more popular than Hakurio? I mean, Hakurio is more about air control, right? But
yeah, it's just that in ranks you can't really on your team, and if you rely on your team as a Hakurio, if your team sucks, there's nothing you can do about it. But in a midway, you can, because you've got enough fighter power to defend and do everything, spot and everything. But your torpedo bombers, your 12 torpedo bombers, do more damage than the 12 of the Japanese ones, and these torpedo bombers are better for attacking battleships or cruisers because they have a longer line of torps. Japanese ones are only 4 torps, whereas USNs are 6, and they're in a long line. And because they're in a long line, you can usually hit more if they go forward. But Japanese ones are better for hitting maneuverable, agile ones. Even though Japanese torps are faster and they can hit on DDs, then what do you call it? Yeah, it's still possible with USN ones, but it's just you just get more impact by killing things, and USN ones do more damage. And here you can see like Barazev's trying to what do you call it? CV snipe me. So obviously to reverse in order to get away from them and increase the amount of time that I have to shoot down as many planes as I can.
But that also means, if I'm not mistaken, that you have a vulnerability. Your AA is now on for 1 minute more, so he will definitely go for you because he sees no opportunity, I guess, to get something else done. So what you want to ensure is probably to survive as long as possible until your defensive AA is up again.
Yeah.
Or is there a possibility to do exactly the same to him? I mean, wouldn't it be smart to do it? I mean, go extra.
Yeah, the possibility is there. It's just that for me, I feel like CV sniping isn't really the best option for me, because I feel like I can do more damage trying to kill one of their cruisers on their front line. Because in a CV game, yes, it's 7v7, but it's only 6v6 for all of the other ships. So with like CV input every now and then, because you can only do things every few minutes. So if you can bring that 6v6 down to 5v6 or 4v6, that gives your team a massive advantage if you can kill something.
Yeah, your team looks as if they are going now aggressive.
Yeah.
Not really
Mm-hmm.
the best thing. Kufus dies.
Yeah.
He tried hard, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, what can you do now? I mean, if he's coming for you again, you don't have defensive AA, so if he's coming probably also with the fighters, so you need to get rid of at least enemy ships, or maybe group up with your team, right?
Yeah, so if I should get close to my team, but then I realized that I would not be able to survive probably because I get spotted and then their whole team can shoot me, and getting shot at in a CV isn't the best thing
But
because
if you go like in this area, or wait, give me a sec. There we are, right? Like in this area, so he has to fly over here or over here. I think
yeah,
that would be an opportunity, and then you can still disengage by like turning around, going edge
yeah,
hopping, and then maybe back in that position.
hmm
I guess, I mean, that would be the opportunity. I mean, it's of course a lot of meta game going on there. What is the enemy ACV up to? It is completely different than normal ships game, like,
yeah,
or the rest of this ship game. And yeah, I think the biggest danger. I mean, I would
yeah,
assume it at least. That is now that he's going for you.
yeah. So this is me properly because I thought I'd be fine with my AA, and I thought he might be trying to go for my ships now that he's struck me because he knows that I would think I'm vulnerable, so I would try to defend myself maybe, and then he'd strike at my ships, blobbed up A. But I thought wrong because when I was trying to second guess him, he decided to go for me again. So now I realised that he's got 2 fighters there. I've got 1 fighter near my CV. That's okay. But because he's got 2 fighters there, I've automatically lost the air fight because if I tried to exit strafe, he would just strafe me back. So my other fighter comes back, but it's too late to defend me. I don't have defensive fire for another minute, so my best course of action then could have been just to go towards the 1 line, even J1.
Yeah,
But at
so
the same
far as
time,
sacrificed literally now the booster for killing you, right?
yeah.
Oh, you
So
killed
because
even 2 ships in once. Okay, so
yeah, so because he focused on killing me, I have free reign to attack his ships. Though it was my fault for not using my fighters to defend myself. Because if he's using his fighters to defend his strike force, and my fighters are there, then maybe I could have done something to defend more easily and survive. But in the end, I managed to trade for their 2, and I hope that would have been enough to win the game. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
well, for now it doesn't look too bad actually. You're still leading, but I think now your team needs to pressure them. I think that's the
Yeah.
only option they have. Stick
Mhm.
together and push into them. Of course, the conqueror pushing into a conqueror is of course not what you want, but
Yeah.
I think they have no other choice.
Mhm. Because users left, so our DDs have free reign to cap anything with radar unless Farah tries to strike them. And before I died, if you look, I was 1 plane off King of the Air with 55 plane kills for the achievement.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
is
sniping
there
thing.
much what you could have done different, or would in retrospective what you would have done different? If you
Of
would
me,
play it
yeah,
without the information about him, would there be anything that you would? I mean, except for maybe killing the earring, but that, yeah.
I would have instead of after the initial strike, I should have gone towards the 1 line. So if I go to the 1 line, I give myself more time because the planes are coming towards me, and if I run away from them, they are in my anti-aircraft for longer. I
Yeah.
should have kept my fighters closer to me, so both of the fighters instead of 1, because I thought, oh, 1 fighter should be enough because he might want to defend his fleet. But I didn't think that Farad would leave his fleet undefended, and so that's why I was able to kill 2 of his ship, but then I traded as a result, and that was not a worthwhile trade because I could have struck those ships later had I survived, and
Yeah, I think
also
I
I
see
could have
it
killed
right.
them anyway.
I see it right now. If you would have survived, you would have had defensive again up when he's coming for another strike, if so. But the enemy AA ships are all down, so you can like strike them for free.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah, it's my mistake for not like should have survived was bring my fighters closer to me, and wait until my defensive fire is up, as well as run towards the 1 line.
mm,
Also, another thing with TV sniping is that usually you can't do it in 1 go. You have to do 2, 3 goes, and each time you try to strike, that takes about 4 minutes. So if you can't kill the enemy CV quickly, then you spent so long trying to kill the enemy CV. The enemy CV has had a chance to attack your fleet multiple times. So as you saw, I killed their Worcester and I think it was their Des Moines.
Stalingrad. No, no, Stalingrad.
Yeah, Stalingrad. So I killed those two because he didn't defend them, but he was focused on killing me. If he didn't succeed in killing me, then my impact on the game would have been greater because he hasn't been striking any of my team, so they haven't been taking any extra damage. But meanwhile, I've managed to devastate 2 of their cruisers, meaning that our team has a massive advantage. But yeah, the thing that decided this game was the gearing that I failed to drop and my death. And then after that, yeah, there wasn't much that I could have done. But the team did basically as well as they could because the game was really, really close.
Thing is, if they would have stick together and pushed in one blob against like enemy C-cap, the Zao went off alone because he thought he can kill the Midway, but that is just let's say it simple thinking because Ferozelos wouldn't let him kill himself. No chance. So if they would have stayed together, I guess the Worcester, Moskva, I guess the AA would have been enough or sufficient to shoot down enough planes that Farah wouldn't be able to. But now they are scattered, and yeah, that's basically the end of it. Because now it looks like always everyone feels the urge to do something, but they are doing nothing coordinated. That's simply the issue.
It was also later on in the game that the Zao had defensive fire, the Moskva had defensive fire, and the Worcester of course has defensive fire. So all 3 of them had defensive fire. So they, if they stayed together, they would have had a permanent defensive fire, meaning Farah couldn't do anything against them.
Yeah, that's so you asked them or what? I didn't see it.
No, I didn't ask them. I just found out later on because they managed to panic all of the planes the first time he tried to strike, and then Farah pulls back, waited patiently. So basically, the thing that decided this game was patience, because I didn't have the patience to like wait to strike the gearing properly or wait to strike the Stalingrad properly. So because I played too much rank that day and I wasn't thinking straight, so I didn't really have the patience to wait anymore. But if I had waited, this game could have been a victory. But luckily for Farah, this was his rank 1 game, so he managed to rank out.
Yeah, I will definitely. I think I can remember that I watched, or I know that I watched the game of from Ferozelos' perspective because he uploaded it to his YouTube channel. I will put it in a link down below, so you get the footage and explanations from both sides, I guess, because Ferozelos is also pretty interesting how he's thinking about the situations.
Yeah, and hopefully if you get the idea from both perspectives, you get a better idea of how to play.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, at this point, my team looks like it's in a good place. It's 3v3 and we have all 3 caps.
That's what you think, but the gearing is dead.
Yeah, and then the gearing dies, and it's like, oh no.
But the Worcester looks as if he's killing the Yamato.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that my impact on the game was enough, but yeah, it didn't turn out to be.
Yeah, I mean, this double strike was really good. I mean, nobody can say that you didn't do your best. That's for sure. So the Moskva is now into trouble because he baited the AA with the bombers. I saw it.
Yeah.
Tipped the damn.
So because he's already used his AA, Farah can wait and then strike him.
Yeah. If you want to use your AA, wait till the last moment. Like 4 kilometers. That's when I activate AA. So there's still sufficient time to shoot enough planes down normally. Of course, depending on how good your AA is, but normally that's a good factor.
Yeah, because usually you want this enemy CV to feel like they've committed, they have to drop. Otherwise, if they try to retreat, they'll lose too many planes. and they won't be able to strike properly.
Also, the thing is, if you play against the Midway in a cruiser that is vulnerable to this citadel, so Moskva, almost every cruiser, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much every cruiser.
I think Hindenburg is quite tricky, right?
Yeah, Hindenburg's quite tricky, but it can still be devastated.
Yeah, okay, so...
Same with Minotaur. Minotaur and Hindenburg are the best against bombs, but they can still be citadeled if it's like hit in the right place. But Des Moines, Worcesters, Henrys, Zals, they're all very vulnerable.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, you only activate your AA when the AP bombers come in. That's the tricky part. I mean, the Tor bombers are only tier 8 on the tier 8 on the Midway, so it's more likely that you shoot down more of them. So you wait for the dive bombers and you try to activate only then your AA.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, pretty exciting game, I have to say, and was a pleasure to do this commentary with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ato.
I think for all of them outsides, I mean, seeing this inside view and having a clue what's going on in the minds of the CV players, because it's like an RTS game in another game, kind of.
Yeah, like another world.
Yeah, and yeah, it will drastically change when the CV rework is done, I guess. What do you think so far? Could it be fun? Would you play it?
I will play it, but I don't know if it's going to be bloody good, because it's basically completely dumbed down. Instead of controlling 6 squadrons, for example, you only control 1. It's basically much easier to play. There's not really much else to it. Yeah. I don't think the skill ceiling will be that much higher either.
Yeah, the thing I really appreciate is like reducing this alpha strike potential. That's okay-ish for me, because it's really frustrating. Because if you play, yeah, just like 1 second. If you play like 12 versus 12, the enemy carrier is a good player. My carrier is a bad player. It's like 80 to 90% that you lose the game, and that's basically because the alpha strike is pretty high, and yeah, your CV isn't able to win the fighter duels, and so on and so on and so on. So it just like stacks up, and that's, I mean, skill is such an I mean, unless your own team is consisting out of AA cruisers, there is no chance that you will win the game normally.
Yeah, it's just that dot you either, because if someone goes in with dive bombers, you repair the fire. They dive bomb. They've basically got 5 dive bomber squadrons now, of 3 planes each. Yeah. If you repair 2 fires, you get 3 or 4 fires by the time your repair's finished, because the enemy CV can keep striking you over and over again. Same with floodings. If you repair 1 flooding, they'll just get another flooding on you, and you'd flood over and over again, taking damage over time instead of alpha.
Well, that has to be seen, I guess. Yeah. The new rework looks like dot damage. But yeah, let's not do it too long, this video, otherwise the people get bored. Yeah. Thanks again, man.
You're welcome.
And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, guys out there, and could learn something from it. Apart from that, I wish you a nice day, and enjoy your time, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.